Hello, welcome back to the Great Dog of the North's YouTube video series on building a LaFerrari. As you can tell, I have a cold, so I'm probably not going to talk much, and I'm going to try to make this video much shorter than the last couple. That's my office mate, Alvin. He really wants to get in and help work on the car. So this is parts bag C. I'm going to open that in a minute and show you what's inside that. A little mini unboxing video, and then these parts are for steps 13 through 20 of 35. But as I said, I'm going to roll through this a lot quicker. But before I get into that, I want to say a special thank you to the guys at Tamiya forums and TamiyaBase.com forums. I asked questions about brushless motors for this LaFerrari, and so the guys that helped me gave me a lot of information were Speedy Beans, Jules 1, Jonathan Gillum, Michael's Top Force 17, Turnip JF, and Fabia 130 VRS, and on Tamiya Base, Blackbird. They all gave me a lot of really good information about brushless motors for this car, should I decide that I wanted to go that route. But I really thought about it, and the post by Jonathan Gillum really he actually, without intending to, asked a really important question about whether or not I want to race this car, and as it turns out, I don't. This car is kind of special to me for a number of reasons that I'll go into at some point, but so I'm just going to build it to be really nice and drive it around the house and out on the street probably, and I'm going to put the light kit in it. It turns out that the car body comes with extra parts for adding lights. These are the light buckets for the car. So I have, in addition to the other electronics that I've purchased for the car, I ordered the Tamiya TB04 lighting set, and which is very cool. But you can't use that lighting set with the brushless motor setup, so I had to make a call on this, and I decided to go with this, with the lights instead. And with that said, I'm going to open up parts bag C, and I'm just going to show you the parts really quick here, and then I'm going to get busy on steps 13 through 20. So here's some plastic turnbuckles for the steering and the front drive components, front axles, and there's a lot of little metal bits inside, a lot of metal bearings. So we're gonna go through the steps here, and by the time we get through the end of step 20, we'll have the whole front end, a big part of the front end of the car put together. I'll stop after I complete each step. I'm not going to show you the parts before I do it. I want this video, I want to speed it up, and I realize that they've been really long, so I'm going to go through the stuff and just show you the finished product at the end of each step. Alright. Thanks again for watching these videos, and please like the video and subscribe. And with that, I'll be back after I complete step 13. Okay, at the end of step 9, you have the steering linkage complete. the end of step 10. We have the front bearing housing installed and the steering linkage installed. Okay, I'm on step 15, and the first thing we have to assemble is the front gearbox, which has two bearings and a spring that's held in there by rubber cement, and there's a little tiny E-ring, 2 millimeters. I thought I lost it, but I found it. And the cover for the gears and the differential, one of the two. The other one's already in there. So now these pieces all go onto the chassis. I'm going to pause the tape, and I'm going to come back and show you once I've got it installed in the car. Okay, so at the end of step 15, we have the steering linkage mounted in the car, and the front differential and drivetrain is in here too. And it moves very nice and smoothly. And I'll come back when I start working on step 16. Hi, welcome back to Great Dog of the North's build video, the LaFerrari. We're on to step 16 now, which is the assembly of the front stiffener, which is this piece right here. This will get bolted or screwed to the chassis, and we have these other little pieces that will get connected to this. But before I start working on that, today's mail brought me the TB04 lighting kit from Tamiya. This actually came all the way from Japan, from a company that sells this stuff there. And I'm going to be installing these lights in the Ferrari. And it has red lights in the back, and it has white lights in the front. Now to install these, it's going to require special masking for the body, and the use of these special the light buckets that came with the kit. Usually, I mean, if you're not going to put the lights in it, these wouldn't get used, but in this case they will. So I'll be installing those on the body after we do the paint. But we have to mask the body so that the lights will actually shine out through the front of the Lexan, and we'll be showing you that as time goes on when we get closer to that part. But for now, I'm going to put together the front stiffener, and I'm going to pause the tape, and I will come back when I've got this piece assembled, and then we'll be ready for step 17, which is where we actually fasten this to the body. Alright, back in a bit. Welcome back. I've completed step 16, and this is the front stiffener, and it has these little moving parts on the front. I'm not sure what they're for yet, but we'll find out. And that was all part of the assembly, putting these little ball connectors on there, and these are held on by E-rings. And as part of step 16, I also had to build 2 more of these interesting tie rods, and I was able to make use of my Craftsman wrenches for that. And now we're ready to go on to step 17, where we fasten this front stiffener to the chassis of the car. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll be back. Okay, welcome back. So at the end of step 17, we now have the front stiffener with these little parts mounted to the front of the car, and the front stiffener also holds in the steering linkage. I hope you can see that. You see the steering linkage moving right here. The stiffener holds that down. Very cool. A lot of interesting mechanics going on in this body. Alright. I'll be back later for step 18, which we build up the front axles, and then we attach those in step 19 to the front. See you then. Hi, welcome back. We're on to step 18 of the LaFerrari build, and I have assembled the parts for putting the front axles together. These are the actual front axles, and these are the holders that will attach them to the body in step 19. So here we have also a collection of miscellaneous screws, rubber O-rings, bearings, and some ball connectors. So I'm going to put that together, and when I come back I'll show you the finished assembly. Okay, at the end of step 18, I've assembled the front right and left axles. This is the right hand side one. This is the left hand side one right here. And step 19, we attach these to the chassis, and to do that we're going to use some drive shafts and these little pink Teflon pads and some grub screws and some turnbuckles. And so I'm going to put together those pieces, and before I attach it to the axles to the chassis, I'll come back and show you all the different little parts, and then we'll put the front axles on the car. Welcome back to step 19. I have installed the grub screws in the front axle assemblies after making the holes. 2.5 millimeter hole on each one, and I have put together these little shafts to go on the front. What are they called? They don't have a name for them. They're control shafts though. So these go on the top of the axle assembly, and then when we attach the axle assemblies to the car, these little ball connectors here, this little ball connector here gets attached to the steering assembly. Alright, so I'm going to put these on the chassis now in step 19, and when I come back I will show you the finished assembly, and then we'll be on to step 20. Alright, welcome back. This is the end of step 19. The front axles are assembled here. Steering linkage works. The front axles are on here and everything's spinning the way it's supposed to. Looking good. The axles look reasonably straight too. Everything looks pretty happy. Alright, now we're on to step 20. Alright, welcome back to step 20. Step 20 is the installation of what they call in the instructions the propeller shaft. This is the drive shaft that drives the whole car from the motor mount all the way back here. That's this blue. This is the motor mount right here. So this rod goes in here, and then actually it should go in here first because there's a spring in there, and then in here. So now the motor mount is connected. The rear drive assembly to the front drive assembly. So when we turn the wheels, everything should move fairly smoothly. And it's working really well. All the axles are moving exactly the way they're supposed to in both directions, very smoothly. Alright. That's the end of step 20. So next up is parts bag D. We're going to start putting some shock absorbers together and installing those, and wow, we made a lot of progress. So there's only 15 or 16 more steps in the build of this car. We're moving right along.